Cool School Sports. Let's go, baby. Bow.
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. All right, so I've done a lot of talking about this particular card, like fights in the undercard, because I think top to bottom, and I give credit where credit is due, this is Turkey's best card he's ever put on, in my opinion. There's no bad fights on the card, not one weak fight on the card. But I haven't talked about the main event, and the main event, really and truthfully, it's a real legacy fight in the cruiserweight division. You know, I don't think this fight's gonna get the fanfare that other fights in boxing will get, like Better Be a Bivol, or whenever Tank fights again, or like, you know, just any of the big names. But these two right here, I think they deserve a lot of respect, and that comes in the form of the WBA Cruiserweight Champion Gilberto Ramirez and the WBO Cruiserweight Champion Chris Billam-Smith. I'm a big fan of both these guys and how they go about their business. I think, you know, they're very similar in a sense because in two ways. You know, Gilberto Ramirez has made a lot of history for Mexico in Mexican boxing. He's the first Mexican to ever win a super middleweight title. He's the first Mexican to also win a cruiserweight title, but he doesn't get the fanfare of a guy like Canelo Alvarez, right? He's not very flashy, right? Chris Billam-Smith, kind of the same. Not very flashy himself, but a guy that I think has morphed into one of the best fighters in British boxing. Been very consistent, has an outstanding CV, an outstanding resume. You know, look at the guys he's beaten in his career: Lawrence Okoli, Richard Riakporhe, Isaac Chamberlain, Ty McCarthy. I mean, he's beaten top cruiserweight Mateusz Masternak. He had the big knockout against Arnold Jojai. You know, he has beaten top cruiserweight at the top cruiserweight, and he just hasn't had that fanfare yet, that critical acclaim yet. And I think part of that is being in the cruiserweight division. I think part of that is not having a flashy style. I think part of that is being from a small town like Bournemouth and not being from London or Liverpool or Manchester or one of the big cities in England. But either way, look, they both made it here, and it's a great fight for the division. Now, I know people will say like Chris Billam-Smith ducks Jai Opetaia, and I think that's fair enough. You know, Ben Shalom has been pulling a lot of these fighters that he has out of the purse bids, but I think that fight will happen in due time. And I think even if he's not fighting Jai Opetaia, Chris Billam-Smith is fighting Gilberto Ramirez in the invocation fight, and Chris Billam-Smith has a ridiculously great resume, or probably the best resume of any cruiserweight in the division right now. Just being honest, you know, as far as depth is concerned, the amount of quality wins. So, as far as this fight with Zorro Ramirez, I love this fight. You know, Zorro hasn't had the long cruiserweight run that Chris Billam-Smith had. You know, he came up from 175 to cruiserweight after the Bivol fight, and pretty much got gifted a title shot at Joe Smith Jr., another guy that was a light heavyweight blown up that moved up to cruiserweight. So I think, you know, he's more of, actually, believe it or not, in this case, he is more the unknown quantity because, you know, he beat a blown up light heavyweight at cruiserweight in Joe Smith Jr., and he did it with a style that was very different than we're accustomed to seeing. You know, when you think of Zorro Ramirez, you think of front foot dominant, in your face, come forward, pressure, Mexican volume punching style, breaking you down and wearing you out. That's the kind of fight he's fought his whole career. When he fought Joe Smith Jr. is so much slower than Zorro foot-wise that Zorro was able to get on his toes and box and choose which ranges he wanted to fight at. In this fight, I don't think you'll have that luxury. I think Chris Billam-Smith, one thing that Chris Billam-Smith has shown in his career is he's shown the ability to close the gap and cut off space on opponents and make them very uncomfortable as the fight goes on. You know, and the thing is, Chris Billam-Smith has fought a lot of fighters that are more athletic than he is, like Isaac Chamberlain, like Richard Riakporhe, guys that you could say have a clear, distinct advantage above him in agility and speed and even power. But his ability to make you fight when you don't want to fight, these are things. These are the subtle things that make Chris Billam-Smith one of the most effective cruiserweights in boxing today. So to me, when I break this fight down, and I haven't even really got deep into my film study yet. I'm going to really soon, but just off top, the fight within the fight for me is this. Zorro Ramirez is going into a fight with one of the best cruiserweights in the world without really having fought any top cruiserweights. So we don't really know how Gilberto Ramirez will get on with how he'll do with a full-fledged, strong, sturdy cruiserweight. You know, and I don't think that he's going to be able to, you know, get on his toes and box and be as in charge as he was when he fought Joe Smith Jr. So to me, my thing is this. When Chris Billam-Smith Jr. hits Zoro Ramirez flush on the chin and he feels actual cruiserweight power for the first time in his career, how does Zoro Ramirez respond to that? That's a legitimate question I think we should all be posing going into this fight. And then for Chris Billam-Smith, if Zoro can take that punching power, you know, I think Zoro Ramirez, you know, can outwork a Chris Billam-Smith. Like, Chris Billam-Smith is physically strong and he looks to wear guys down and wear them out. But if he can't hurt Zoro Ramirez, you know, what path to victory does he have? Because Chris Billam-Smith isn't necessarily a guy that throws a lot of punches and outworks people. You know, he grinds you down with physical strength, precision, hard, accurate shots. And that's how he goes. I mean, think about when he fought Isaac Chamberlain. He broke his orbital bone. Why? Because he's a physically strong, you know, accurate puncher. I think a lot of the times too, you know, when I think of his best wins, like against Isaac Chamberlain, against Lawrence Okoli, those guys are very good boxers, are high-level boxers in this weight class. But those guys didn't have the physical strength to keep Chris Billam-Smith off. So my thing is this: if Zoro Ramirez can take the physical strength of Chris Billam-Smith, can Chris Billam-Smith, does he have anything else to fall back on besides physical strength and just wearing a guy out? So I think both these guys have a lot of questions. And to me right now, as it stands, you know, this division's kind of in a weird place right now. I think this is a legacy fight in the cruiserweight division, because Zoro is trying to become the first Mexican fighter to ever become a unified champion at cruiserweight. You know, if he doesn't do it, it may never happen ever again, because there's not really many Mexican cruiserweights in the world, or if any, right? So big time history on the line here for Zoro. And then for Chris Billam-Smith, this is a fight for him, because let's be real. Most American boxing fans don't watch British boxing and don't care about the cruiserweight division. That's just the truth. Us Americans don't give a damn about the cruiserweight division. I'm an anomaly because I love boxing, but most people in America don't care about this weight class. So when people watch Chris Billam-Smith fight Zoro Ramirez, this is gonna be the first time that he's gonna come into the consciousness of a lot of American boxing fans. So him winning this fight isn't just about him becoming a unified champion. It's not just about further cementing himself as one of the best fighters in British boxing, but it also is about, you know, making him a bigger name and setting the stage for bigger fights, because, you know, the Jai Opetaia fight is still out there. You know, you still got potentially the better be at Bivol winner could always come up and fight Chris Billam-Smith or Zoro if they win this fight. But that's the position he's in, you know, and it's just a great fight. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think both of these fighters right here have both been underappreciated, undervalued, very steady, very consistent performers from two of boxing's powerhouse countries, which is the UK and Mexico. So make it that what you will. These are my preliminary thoughts on Zoro versus Chris Billam-Smith. I'll have more on this fight as it gets closer. We still got like what, little over a month before they fight, so you know, expect more videos on True School Sports on this fight, because it's one of the fights remaining on the schedule that I'm really excited about. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe, and like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. I'm at the Boxing Hall of Fame out here in Canterbury, New York. And for more great boxing content just like this video, make sure you click and subscribe right over here.